What is going on, guys? Jeremy here, Nasty2SS, back with another video. So, last video you guys saw had a crazy cool cruise in. Basically just kind of driving around filming. Had a really good time. Want to thank everybody for coming out. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go back, check that out, give that a thumbs up if you liked it. Today's video, guys, is something I've been needing since I got the supercharger installed. We got Butters climbing around back there, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what we have here. So we've got Butters right here modeling our new products. What do you think, Bubs? Yeah, well, how about you get down now? Yeah. So here we go, guys. ProSport gauges. These are the Evo gauges. You can see them right in here. This is gonna be our boost gauge, and this is gonna be our AFR gauge. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the Autometer pillar pod is probably, from what I've seen, is the best one as far as fitment. Only thing I had issues with is this is supposed to be 52 millimeters. It is not. So what I did is, and you can use a Dremel if you're comfortable with one. I use a razor blade, honestly. Just kind of raise it around. And then what you can also do is go into the bathroom, grab your wife's nail file. If you drive a Mustang, just go into your beauty supply bag and just grab your own nail file. In my case, since I drive a Camaro, I went ahead and got my wife's nail file. So basically just kind of filed that down. Used a razor as I needed it, and the gauges fit in there perfectly now. But it did take a little bit of work to kind of make that to where it would fit. So I'm going to pull the gauges out of the box and show you how they're going to sit in here. I'm not going to put them all the way in yet. I'm basically going to set them up where I want them once I get all the wiring installed. This is going to be my AFR gauge. I want that to be the first gauge that I read, so I put that right up here in the front. Probably going to make that the red gauge. You can change these from red or blue, so that's probably going to be my red gauge, and boost is probably going to be my blue gauge. This is a wideband AFR, so we have got our Bosch sensor here. We've got our wiring. These, I'm not sure if we're going to need this yet. That looks like it's going to go to the gauge, and more than likely probably connect over here is going to be my best guess, but I do not have a bung welded right now, so obviously this is just going to be the wiring up part, and we will get to that later. But basically just want to get everything pretty much mocked up. That way when I go and get my bung welded in, I can just go ahead and hook it up and start rolling. Alright guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the negative battery terminal. Alright, so we've got that off. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the driver's side of the car. That's where we're going to go ahead and remove the A-pillar. Alright guys, so in case you didn't already know, we are going to be working with electrical stuff, so obviously that's why I unplugged the battery. Another thing right here in our A-pillar, we've got a side curtain airbag, so definitely don't want to mess around with that. We are definitely going to get close to it, so do not want to get popped in the face by an airbag. If that happens, it's going to get on camera and you guys can laugh at me, so that is the plus side. But we're going to go ahead and remove this and go ahead and get started on the install. Alright guys, so first thing you want to do, pull this rubber down right here. You're going to have a little vinyl seal, and you're just going to kind of pop this out right here. There's actually a clip holding this on somewhere. There it is. There it is. So there is a tab. Alright, yeah, got it. So there's our A-pillar off. We'll be right back. There's a clip. There's going to be a tab right down here on the bottom. You're just going to push this in, and then you can just kind of pull it out. But that's where we're sitting right now. Alright guys, back to the gauges. It's going to look like a lot of wiring, but it's really not too bad. So I've got that. I've got the AFR gauge hooked up to the controller here. There's a cluster of wires. One's going to power the gauge. That's going to be this one. The other one is going to go down to the wideband sensor. Alright guys, so this is pretty much kind of trial and error here. Still haven't got too far yet. Basically got all these wires up here for the wideband kind of out of the way. We're not going to be using that for a while. I did get a little added circuit, put that into a 20 amp there, which reminds me, this needs to go back in here. So there's our little added circuit. If you guys can see, got it down in there. This is basically going to be going to power. And what I'm going to do, it's going to be hard to see, but there's going to be a little black bolt. Let's see if we can get to it. Right down here. Probably can't see it. It's really dark, but right here, that's where we're going to put our ground to. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to turn the battery back on and see if we get power to the boost gauge. If so, we will go ahead and start wiring up the vacuum fittings and all that good stuff. So, be right back. We got power. Cool deal. So I'm just going to pop this in place. And then I'm probably going to do the vacuum stuff. I might do the wideband another day, we'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and get this all fixed up. Be right back. Alright guys, so we're going to take a quick look over here. Actually ended up grounding here on this big nut right there. All I did is run into a 20 amp fuse right here under this relay. And that's it. These other wires we're not going to be using, so pretty much going to tuck those away. Really the only thing else to do as far as getting power is going to be to the AFR gauge. So I'm probably, honestly, it should be fine. I'm probably just going to run them right into here where I've got these, but we'll see how that turns out. Be right back. Alright guys, so we've got everything wired up. I'm going to show you real quick. There is a boost sender, and actually I've still got to send that to ground. I did not do that yet, but I've got the sender sitting right here. There is a vacuum hose. I'll show you guys real quick. Basically what I did is teed into here, into the existing boost line right here. Ran that through the firewall, over that cable, and we're gonna see how this does. Let me put this to a ground source, and we will go ahead and fire everything up. Be right back. Alright guys, so everything is connected. We're gonna make sure nothing blows up here. Put this trim piece back up. Alright, so not driving, so basically all we really need to look for right now is negative boost once we start it. So let's just make sure we got lights on, no fires. Got lights. This is going to be our boost gauge right here. That's what we're going to be really paying attention to. So it's going to be loud. I can't close the door. I have not really wrapped all this up yet, but let's go ahead and see if we get any negative boost. Negative vacuum. Alright, first start. So for whatever reason, we're not getting a boost reading. I don't know if there's something with the calibration or what, but it's not doing anything. So, let me see what's going on, guys, and I will be right back. Alright guys, so update. I'm not even going to show my face yet. I'm like looking like crap right now. It is a week later. I pretty much have figured out the issue. I'm not sure really where I left off on this video. I did go live though, but I'm going to show you guys right here. Still got everything kind of mocked up. Gauges are working. Everything looks really good. I'll go ahead and show you guys real quick. There is our wideband gauge, obviously still not hooked up. There's our boost gauge, red. Kind of hard to see on the camera, but that's how I've got it right now. I might end up doing them both blue, I'm not sure. Just driving around, the red is kind of hard to see during the day, but perfect at night, honestly. Let's get this annoying chime over with. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you what the issue I think is, honestly. Nothing has seemed to work. All the grounds are good. Power is good. If you'll notice, this is actually the module for the wideband. So you'll notice a little seal right here, guys. It says seal invalid if torn. Obviously, this is not torn. But let's go back to this. This right here, guys, is our sending unit for the boost gauge. As you can tell, this is actually torn. So what I'm thinking, I actually didn't get this from ProSport directly. I actually got it from one of their distributors, and what I'm honestly thinking is this more than likely was a returned product, and I think somehow this actually got shipped back out. I think this white wire right here off the sending unit is supposed to read 1 volt, and we are actually getting 9 volts out of it. So something pretty sure shorting out. But I'm waiting on USPS to get here. They're saying they'll be here anytime between now and 8 p.m. So hopefully here in a couple hours, and we'll go ahead and put that in and see if that fixes the problem. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be right back. And the seal is not broken on this one. Cool deal. We might not have a dud this time. I ended up cutting the wires on the other one. Basically, I have a little rubber loom here because it really doesn't come very long, so might get some small connectors from O'Reilly's, extend these so I don't have to cut into the harness. But we're going to test this out first, see if it works, and then we'll kind of go from there. But as you guys can see, if it'll autofocus here, so this label is not torn. Alright guys, so you're probably not going to be able to see this too well, but just kind of give it a shot here. So let's go ahead, we'll move this out of the way. If you guys can see, that's for the wideband. This is our dud sender right here. It's the one that's not working. So basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to, like I said, mock this up. Really don't have a lot of wire to work with here on this harness, which kind of sucks. I wish they would give you a little more wire, but we're gonna go ahead, and if we have to run extra wire, that's fine, we'll do that. But we're just going to go ahead and get this thing to where we can see if we get any numbers on here. So let me go ahead and mock this up, guys. I will be right back. Alright guys, so we got everything kind of mocked up here. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot, see what happens. Might have to adjust the boost gauge, not sure. It should be set on 0 on accessories, so if it says anything else, there should be an adjustment on the back to level it out. Here we go. We have got a reading. So when we start it, we should get negative vacuum. I think we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and button everything up. See you guys here in a minute. Alright guys, so pretty much everything's buttoned up. I'm gonna do a quick power on real quick, just to make sure when I secured all my wires that we still do have a good connection. So we're gonna do that now. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the power on, make sure we still have power. Make sure the sending unit is still working. After that, we're going to take a quick glance at the fuse box and going to show you guys how I did all of my wiring. Alright, so we're going to give this thing some power real quick. Everything's good. As you guys can see, I actually did change all of these to blue. If you'll notice how the gauge is reading 1, power on, engine off. I want to show you how to fix that. Mine originally, once I got it hooked up, was reading 5. I just put it back at 1 just for the sake of showing you guys how to zero this out, basically to ensure that you are getting the correct amount of boost to the gauge. So if you look on the back of the gauge, you're going to have 2 set screws down here. This is going to be for your lighting. If you want to adjust the lighting, if you want it brighter, dimmer, you can do so using that one. This one right here is going to be the adjustment to pretty much zero the gauge out. So what you're going to want to do, you can use an Allen wrench. I highly recommend using what ProSport gives you, just a little plastic kind of Allen key. You're just going to stick that in there. Now don't over tighten this, but that's going to be your adjustment right here. So basically what you want to do is zero that out. I'll go ahead and hook it up real quick and show you guys kind of what it'll do. You can see right here I'm at -5 vacuum. So basically you're just going to want to put this into the back and move it around. So basically left to right, get it steady, and that's 0. So we are zeroed out. Gauge is pretty much calibrated, that's really all it takes. And I'm just going to pop this back in. It does look kind of intimidating, but basically I'm going to break it down for you here. This is a super easy install. Granted, you have a functioning sending unit, but I don't feel like that was anything ProSport did. I think that was from the distributor I bought it from on Amazon. So definitely, honestly, no complaints. The gauges look great. The boost gauge for the most part seems pretty accurate. Obviously this car does not make a lot of boost with this kit, but from what I can tell right now, I'm peaking at about 5 pounds of boost wide open throttle, which I was hoping it would actually peak at 6, but it's getting there. So, but anyways, I'm gonna break this down for you real quick. All right, so when you look here, you obviously see a good amount of wires. It's really not that bad, guys. To make it simple, we'll go ahead and start with this. This is the only wire that is gonna come out from the back of your AFR gauge. It's going to have a box that comes with it. So you've got the wire that's coming into your AFR gauge, which is going to be your gauge wire. It's going to go right here. See if we can focus. It's going to go right here. Then we've got our power wire right here. So basically at the end of that harness, you are going to have some wires exposed. You'll see a white wire, a red wire, and an orange wire. The orange wire you can use instead of the white wire if you want your gauges to be red. I decided to do blue, so I ran the white wire. So disregard the orange wire. Red's power, white's 12 volt, which is powering the gauge to be blue. So that is literally it for the AFR side. Now if you look up here, again, see we've got another orange wire, we've got red, white, black, and green. Your red wire is going to be power. White wire, that's if you want to run your gauge blue. Again, if you want to have it red, don't use the white, use the orange. Again, we're throwing this orange to the side, we don't need that. So that's it. Power, color, basically a 12 volt wires. Now the other one you're going to have here is a green wire. Remember, this is all coming out of the boost gauge. We've got our green wire, and that is actually a signal wire that is going to send a signal from the boost sender to the gauge. So, try and move this out of the way the best I can for now before I wrap everything up here. We'll just kind of sit it here. Here's our boost sender. Alright, so you can see here, we've got a black wire. That's obviously going to go to ground. And I completely didn't mention that on the boost gauge, but there is a ground wire for the boost gauge, obviously, so you're going to want to ground that too. I have grounded these together right here. So that's your ground. Obviously, again, coming off of the boost sender, we've got our power wire. Now the white wire coming off of the boost sender is actually going to attach to the green wire, which is your signal wire. So that's the wire that is going to send your vacuum to the gauge. And there's our vacuum line. I'm going to show you where you can actually mount your sending unit. Super good spot to mount it. If you look back here, you've got this bolt right here coming out. Got this hole right here, little mounting spot in the sending unit. Literally, you can just kind of set that over it. Sending unit will sit right there, tucked up out of the way. Make sure you don't have any kinks in your boost line. We're actually going to go up to the front of the car and check that out too. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Honestly, what you could do is you could get a 4-port T, which is probably what I'm going to do in the future. That way you're not cutting 2 different spots. Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if you're running the kit, you've probably already got a T, but that way you're not running 2 different spots. This is kind of janky to me. I don't really like it a whole lot, but it's going to have to work for now. And this is going to be what comes with your ProSport kit. You're just going to have another T right here. Going to have your inline filter, and you're basically just going to run that down through the firewall, as you can tell, or you may not be able to tell. No kinks in that line. Everything looks good. I've literally got that just kind of coming straight back down here and into the firewall. Doesn't look the best. I'm probably going to find another way to run it, possibly up under the blower and around, but we'll figure that out later. Really, I just wanted to get the most of the install done. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. I really can't tell you a whole lot about the accuracy of these gauges yet. Like I said, it seems pretty close on the boost gauge. I don't have the bung welded in. I think I probably already said that at some point in this video, but I've actually got to get the sensor hooked up and finish the wiring for the AFR gauge, so that's not going to take long. Literally just have somebody weld a bung, run the wires up. So that's really the only thing I really got to figure out is where to run that wire up. Probably go back through the firewall again, but just kind of where to mount it up under the car where it's not going to get too hot anywhere. But that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. See you guys on the next one.